Yo, what's going on peeps? My name's Ratticuss, and today I'm going to be talking about 10 dinosaurs from Ark that I think deserve a TLC patch. All of the dinos I'm covering can be found on the island map, and are in no particular order. The first dinosaur on my list is the Diplodocus. The Diplo is easily one of the most useless dinosaurs. It has no means of defending itself, which makes no sense, especially when you consider Ark's ecosystem, which contains more predators than prey, so the lack of self-defense instantly wipes out any uses that it does have. The only real use of a Diplo is to carry lots of players, which isn't a feature that people really need, and I doubt Wildcard would actually give the Diplo a platform saddle, as it would make it too similar to the other sauropods found in the game. However, it could benefit from a second saddle that you unlock later on, which comes with a built-in turret. Or another thing that the Diplo could do is to have a sort of call that would make any tamed Gigantopithecus in the area mount onto the Diplo's seat, and then if you use the call again, they would dismount and become aggressive, making the Diplo useful for raids, because it would have a means of releasing dinos that could fight for you. My next creature is the Titan Boa. Apart from the eggs for kibble, there's, again, not really a reason to tame one. To make things worse, they require fertilised eggs in order to actually tame. And on a boosted server, this isn't an issue, but on an official server, it can take a while to get enough eggs for a creature that gives you practically no benefits. An easy way to make the Titan Boa useful, especially to small tribes, is for it to collect fertilised eggs when set to wandering. So then it would act a bit like the S+ hatchery, which would be an easy way for Wildcard to integrate S+ features into the actual base game. My next creature is quite similar to the Titan Boa, it's the Oviraptor. Again, it's a similar story, with you having to put valuable eggs into it in order to tame, but then it doesn't really help you that much. It gives your dinos an egg boost, but from my experience when I used to play on official servers, this isn't helpful, because you have to sit there for hours in order to see the benefits, which you'd rather be upgrading your base, taming creatures and so on. So I think the way they could improve the Oviraptor is to have it pick up the unfertilised eggs that drop on the ground and hold them for you. The next one is the Archaeopteryx, but where do I even start with the Archaeopteryx? It's one of the few creatures in the game that I've never bothered to tame. They have no use as far as I'm concerned. The webs might as well be confetti, and the Archaeopteryx can't even walk on walls. The Archaeopteryx could easily be turned into the must-have creature for taming early on in the game, if it was just given a few new abilities from features that already exist in the game. The first ability is to walk on walls. We've got a few creatures in the game now that can walk on walls, yet a spider can't, which makes absolutely zero sense considering spiders walk everywhere. The second is a web attack that replaces the current attack, because the current attack it's useless, but it could act as a organic chain bowler, constricting small and medium dinosaurs for a small amount of time, allowing you to then knock them out and tame them. Another web attack that it could have is the ability to temporarily create zip lines and run across them like the Ravengers in Aberration, which this would be an easy way to bring some of the features from DLCs into the main arc. So yeah, as I said previously, there are so many features currently in the game that would fix the Archaeopteryx, but for some reason it's not receiving a TLC. A final ability that I considered is a web ability that acts like a barrier, similar to the wooden spikes but without causing damage, that you could place around an unconscious creature, and then that would create a barrier between you and predators whilst you're taming. And it would stop on official servers. You see these rings of spikes around where creatures were on official, and it would just stop that, because you could have these temporary barriers that would stay there for a while then just break down, rather than having wooden spikes that stay there for a few real life months. The Archaeopteryx could be a really useful dinosaur, but unfortunately it's not. Parachutes are easy to make and they don't restrict your hands, so you can still do PvP, you can still be shooting like trank darts at creatures and stuff, but using the Archaeopteryx as a parachute, it restricts your hands, you can't do anything, which it just seems useless considering they take chitin, which early on in the game, when you can already make parachutes, chitin's quite a rare resource to get your hands on. But I think what would be a better idea for the Archaeopteryx is if they had it mount onto the player's back rather than being in the hands, and then acted as a wingsuit, because that would be much more useful and it would give the Archaeopteryx an advantage over parachutes because it would allow players to glide long distance rather than just slowly falling and acting like a parachute where they can't use their hands. In the Megalosaurus, both male and female version, I wasn't sure if I should count this as two different creatures or one creature, but I decided I'm going to keep it as one creature. But both the male and the female, relatively useless. The female is the worst, with literally no use. It's not the quickest creature, doesn't have the best weight or health, and has no means of defense. The female should be given a rear kick that does low damage but stuns a creature that's trying to attack it. Now, I think it should do low damage so that way it's not becoming an Equus. But it should do a stun attack similar to that of like a Baryonyx or something, just to give it the advantage to run away. And then, it doesn't make sense that it can't harvest anything. So it should be able to harvest berries, because otherwise how's it going to eat? Or if they don't want to have it harvesting berries, maybe fibre, because there's not many creatures in the game that can currently harvest fibre. Now as for the males, this one's not really a must-have, but I thought it was quite a cool idea. If they could passively generate keratin in their inventory. Because, cool fact, deer's antlers are the fastest growing tissue found in any mammal, and they fall out every single year and regrow every single year. So it would be really cool if you just had keratin passively being created inside their inventory that you could then go and take. Gallimimus. You're a fast one, but you lack the health and defensive capabilities to be a valued member of any tribe. However, with details of extinction being released, we know that there are sort of like storage chests that can fly from one location to another. Now, this would be a cool mechanic to bring into the Gallimimus, because when you're getting raided, you could command your galley to run to a secondary base or a separate location away from your base, and then you could put a few of your valuables onto it, and it would just give you that second chance of saving your valuables whilst you distract the raiders. So you can maybe get your best blueprints out of your base or something. Now people could kill the Gallimimus whilst it's running away, take your loot, but it's better than you going up against like a couple hundred rockets or something. You'll just have a slightly better chance of saving your favourite things. So we're now getting into the last three. With this one, I wasn't too sure if I should put it in, as it's not really a TLC, and it's the Quetzal. It's more of a please wildcard, fix what you broke. Wild Quetzals never land, so it's really weird that tamed Quetzals have to land in order to regain their stamina. So what I'm asking is just please return it so the Quetzal regains its stamina from the rider just dismounting and standing on its back. Though, a feature that could be kind of cool, that could be a TLC, is if it had like an autopilot mode where the Quetzal would fly in a straight line or to a specific location while the player's doing things on its platform saddle like crafting or just tending to tames that are there or something like that. And it would just give people a means of travelling, because flying a Quetzal is really boring and they're just so slow. So if you could be doing things, being productive on the back of it whilst it just flies in a straight line, I think it could be quite useful. Number 9, the Pachycephalosaurus. Now, I think the Pachy, it could be so cool, but its charge ability is so underwhelming. Like, it could be improved in seconds if they just mimicked what the trike does. If the player could just control the dino whilst it's charging around rather than running in a straight line, it'd just be miles better. But also, why can they only damage thatch and greenhouses? Like, it'd be so much better if the Pachy could attack at least stone or even potentially metal, because the Pachy is a living wrecking ball. And we've seen the Stygimoloch in the Jurassic World 2, and we've watched it smash through cages, we've seen it break through stone walls and stuff, and I feel like that's probably added a lot of hype towards that sort of genus of dinosaurs being able to break through large structures. So I just feel like the Pachycephalosaurus should be able to break through more than thatch. Make an actual raiding dino. It just seems logical. Okay, so my final creature was more of a joke, but it's last but not least, it's everyone's favourite creature, the Dodo. Now, as I said, this is more of a joke TLC, but I just couldn't resist. The Dodo should be able to taunt predators, having them chase it into a trap, acting as live bait. Because we have honey for herbivores, why don't we have live bait for predators? Once in the trap, the player would close the gate and the Dodo would either escape through a 1x1 door frame or would be sacrificed to the predator so you could tame it easier. I just feel like this could be such a fun mechanic to play with, and it just make trapping large dinos so much easier. Maybe not have like Rexes, but like Allosauruses and Carnos chase the Dodo, and it would give people a use for Dodos other than their eggs. So that's the 10 dinos in Ark that I believe deserve a TLC patch. If you go down into the comments and tell me if you think I've missed any creatures, or what you think of my TLC ideas, or if you thought of a better TLC for any of these creatures, that would be amazing. And if you have at all liked this video, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. I'm a heavyweight.